So I've had customers in the past get extremely upset with me because I touch meat and then touch veggies. So I gotta make it known that if you don't want me to touch meat and then touch vegetables, put it onto your sandwich, literally just tell me. We have all of these veggies in the back, and I'm always very happy to go to the back and just grab a fresh container to put onto your sub for you. It's no big deal. Why do you use see-through gloves and not regular blue ones? So blue gloves are for medical purposes. I don't know why we would use those, but the see-through gloves are kind of bad, I will say. My dad has eczema, and I know a ton of people that have eczema, and the gloves are really bad to put on for people who have eczema. And they're also a huge waste of plastic. Subway, if you're out there listening, we gotta find a new way for the gloves, man. Every broke college kid knows how valuable ramen packets are, but I was blessed enough to live with my parents during college, so I got home-cooked meals all the time. But my girlfriend loves herself some ramen, so she taught me how to make some. And honestly, it was a little spicy, but it's very good. Ever made someone sub after for yourself because you thought it looked good? Yo, this happens all the time, and this is actually how I discovered the Chipotle chicken sandwich. And that sandwich is actually now one of my favorite sandwiches on the menu. It's how I discovered the meatball and pepperoni. People always come in and bring in their own incredible creations to the store. So sometimes I'll look at that creation and I'll be like, huh, that looks pretty good. And then I'll make it for myself and I'll enjoy that savory sandwich. Today I decided I wanted to make some Orbeez because I was really bored and off from Subway. So first things first, I took a bunch of beads from this thing that I bought online. I poured some water into the cup with the beads, and then I realized this cup is way too small. So I poured it into a larger container, added some more water, and finally I got these cute little Orbeez. They were so much fun to play with. Subway just came out with something new called the Subway Melt. I got the steak version of the Melt in the 6-inch form, and it's basically a steak sandwich with onions and green peppers on it. And then we slide it over and add a bunch of extra American cheese, and then we have to toast it a very certain way. We basically just put the cheese onto it, and then we put it into this bag and throw it into the toaster oven. This is so that we can make sure the sandwich cooks through thoroughly, and we actually want these certain burn marks on it when it comes out. And voila, we've just made a steak melt. Sometimes when I'm bored at Subway, I like to make these little funky creations. This is what I like to call a pepperoni bite, where we take the Subway dough, put some pepperonis and mozzarella cheese inside, and fold it over. It's kind of fun doing this, I'm not gonna lie, and it kind of feels like making a little dumpling out of Subway ingredients. And then I threw this bad boy into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it came out delicious. Have you ever fell in love with one of your customers? You know, this is a really fair question. I'm pretty sure I've answered this in the past 1 or 2 times before, but I just don't think I can fall in love in a Subway. I mean, that's probably one of the least romantic places ever. But to be fair, they say love comes in the weirdest places, so I could understand if somebody falls in love with somebody at their job. I mean, I've heard it happen so many times. But I'm very happy with my girlfriend, so I don't think I'm falling in love anytime soon. These funky creations at Subway are so much fun to make, so I thought I'd make myself a nice Nutella ball. Basically, I started off by taking the Subway dough, spraying it with some water, and then spreading it out and putting some Nutella inside the middle of it. Next, I pinched it up into a ball and flipped it over, just like a little dumpling, one might say. And then I tossed it into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit and got this beautiful creation. One of my most asked questions since I started TikTok is whether or not Subway is halal. As of right now, 1 in 10 Subways are halal across the United States and the UK, but every single Subway has halal options, for example, the Veggie Delight. And if you don't know what halal means, it basically means a way of prescribing the meat in a certain way for religious purposes. I hope that answers your question. Ever since I was a kid, one of my favorite desserts in the whole wide world is the ice cream cookie sandwich. So today I brought some vanilla ice cream to Subway and I made this bad boy out of the Subway cookies, and let me tell you, this thing hit hard. Honestly, if Subway's ever looking for extra desserts, this thing's gotta be added to the menu, man. Honestly, making ice cream with Dylan has been so much fun so far, but I will have to say one of the hardest parts are the throws. I messed up a few times on all of these throws, and I kept picking them up and dropping them back in. I found it kind of funny how I kicked it like a soccer ball to get rid of it, and I have to say I did change my gloves every time, so don't comment about that. Thanks, Dylan. Unfortunately, I am not a full-time Cold Stone employee, but flying down to Florida and being able to collaborate with Dylan has been so much fun so far. He's taught me so much, from the chop chop fold fold to actually making the signature creations to even being able to throw the ice cream, and I've just gotten quicker and quicker because of him, so thank you, Dylan. Also, shout out to my brother for catching this scoop. Do you have a consistent customer, like someone who comes in every day or every week? Ah, yes. I like to call this customer Bill. Usually, it's the same exact sandwich every time, but every now and then he'll change up what type of cheese or what type of sauce he gets on it. But I haven't seen Bill in about a few weeks, so Bill, if you're out there, I miss you, buddy. Please come back. Subway isn't the same without you, Bill. How many Karens do you come across a day? So before I started making TikToks, it was honestly at least one Karen a day. But I think for some reason they become completely scared of my store or coming and interacting with me. So now it's literally like 2 Karens a week if I'm lucky. Or maybe I've just gotten so used to some people being Karens that I don't notice. But either way, I might go undercover at other subways to find more.
How did I not know your parents own the subway? A lot of you guys already know this, but a lot of you guys don't know about this. Yes, my parents own the subway that I work at. Call me the owner's son, call me whatever you want. But if I'm being real, working at your parents' restaurant has its privileges. I mean, whenever we aren't busy, which doesn't really happen anymore. That was like months ago that would happen. But I got to scroll on TikTok just about all the time. And you can never complain about the free food. Funniest story with a customer and their family. So I had a mom walk in with her 2 sons one day and they were ordering their sandwiches. Everything was going normally. And out of nowhere, the 2 brothers just started fighting. It started off with words with them saying, you smell, you smell. These were like 8-year-old kids. And they literally just started swinging at each other out of nowhere. And the mom was like, hey, knock it off, boys. Me and the mom started laughing about it afterwards. Has anyone tried to steal something from your subway? This has happened many times, and just about every single time they get caught. But yeah, usually they'll try to steal a pack of cookies or a drink on their way out or a bag of chips, and every time I'll call them out. I'll be like, hey, you didn't pay for that, and when they're coming to the counter to ring it up because they got caught, I'll try to throw something slick in, like, your mom wouldn't be proud that you're stealing from a subway.
Hey Milad, it's Tony Hawk. I heard you're looking for a good My Subway sub build. Well, here is my custom one. It's called the Birdman Chicken Parm. I used to get on tour all the time. First, you take chicken and mozzarella, then you heat it up, and you take the sauce from the meatball bin, and you actually pour it on top of the sandwich. Not the meatball itself, just the sauce, and it becomes a chicken parmesan sub. Get it? Don't put too much sauce because it'll spill at the bottom when you hold it up, but that's another story. All right, let's see you make it. Good luck.
Has anyone ever gotten mad because you didn't give them their order for free? So I don't think anyone's ever gotten mad because I didn't give them their order for free. That would be kind of ridiculous. But recently we took away the sandwich of the day, which was a $6 footlong at Subway. And I'm not gonna lie, there were a few people that were kind of upset. But like every single one of those sandwiches cost either $6.79 or $6.99. So that's like 79 cents more, 99 cents more. I literally had people walk out of Subway and listen, man, it's just 79 cents. I don't know what to tell you. Has the customers ever argued in the line or at the table? So back during the first few months of quarantine, there was 2 people that came into the store. One was a woman and one was a man, and the woman was online ordering her sandwich and the man was right behind her. And the woman was not happy at all because the man was not socially distant from her, so she made it known. After like 10 seconds of back and forth, I was just like, listen man, can you just back up like 3 feet? You'll be okay. It wasn't that big of an argument though, and both people were extremely nice about it. Tony Hawk, the skateboarding legend, the man who made the video game I played for literally my entire childhood, just told me to make his Subway sandwich. This doesn't feel like real life. But Tony says he gets something called a Birdman Special, which is an oven roasted chicken with mozzarella cheese. And then you pour some marinara sauce onto that bad boy, and it looks delicious. Tony, this is an incredible sandwich, and I'm so happy you put me on. Hey, one day maybe I gotta make it for you in real life. A ton of you guys have been asking me how I edit my videos, and honestly, my process is really simple. Since the beginning, I've used an iPhone app. I used to use iMovie, but now I use an app called InShot, and I use this to edit all of my TikToks, all of my YouTube videos, literally everything. So this just proves you can get started with literally any device, and you don't need some fancy $1,000 computer to make TikToks or YouTube videos. Subway was pretty dead today, so I had to go ahead and get a new job at Cold Stone. This is my first day on the job, so I'm getting taught how to make a nice little ice cream ball. First, we took the ice cream, plop it onto the stone. Now we're going to add some graham crackers, some Reese's Cups, and a little bit of caramel drizzle. Now chop, fold, and we're going to take that ice cream, make it into a bowl, and then we're going to take that ball and just plop it into a little cup. Shout out to Dylan for the big training. Did you ever have to close the Subway because of danger nearby? So about 2 years ago on our road, we actually had a gas leak right underneath our Subway location and the buildings around us. And my store is on a very major street in my city, so it was kind of a scary thing. That was like the one time that we had to close besides like a blizzard or a hurricane in the past couple of years. Thank God that gas leak didn't turn out to be anything, and they fixed it after about like 4 hours, I'm pretty sure.
What about an entitled customer's I know the owner moment? I had a customer come in a few years back at the old Subway that I used to work at, and he came in with an extreme attitude, and literally every single thing that I was doing, he started complaining about. When I was ringing him up, he told me, hey, you gotta fix a lot of these things or else I'm gonna have to tell your boss. I mean, I know the owner of this place. And right there and then, I was like, well, you could go ahead and tell my parents. I'll literally tell them about this. What's your name? And then he kind of brushed it off and paid his total and left. Many of you guys have been asking me if I quit Subway. No, of course I didn't quit Subway, guys. Come on now. Right now I'm just in Florida visiting Dylan and we're making ice cream. He's teaching me how to make ice cream. I'll be back in New Jersey and at Subway back on Monday, so don't worry. I can never leave Subway. Come on, it's what made me, and you guys love the Subway content, so I would never do that. But if I'm being honest, working at Cold Stone is so much fun. I have so much respect for both jobs.
So last week on a video, I told you guys that for every single like that video got, I would give away $0.0005 to a lucky customer. Well, that video got 144,300 likes, so one lucky customer is going to be getting $72.15. Now, it's time for the next week. So for every single like that this video gets, one lucky customer will get $0.0005 to their name. Like this video so that customers can get as much money as they want.
So I try my best to never touch the meat and cheese with the same gloves on, but whenever I start changing my gloves, my comments always tell me you're wasting so much plastic. So honestly, at times, I have no idea what to do. I mean, if somebody comes in and they don't want us touching meat and cheese at the same time, they could always ask us and we could grab anything from the back for them. I mean, I understand the preferences and everything, but you just have to let us know. What do you guys think?
Why don't you quit Subway? Because you make a lot of money from sponsorships and TikTok. This is a completely fair question. I get asked this question a lot by customers that even come into the store. If we're being real, right now I could be making enough money doing this that I don't really need to go to Subway, but that wouldn't be real. I built this entire platform off of Subway, and I've been working at Subway almost like 1/4 of my life. And my parents desperately need me, so it would be completely unfair for me to put them into the dark. And at the end of the day, family means a lot more than money.
Subway is actually an amazing job, and I'm going to teach you guys how to craft the perfect sandwich today. First things first, you're going to have to grab your bread and slice it in half. Then you're going to grab your meats. This is an Italian BMT with bacon on top, so we got some salami, pepperoni, ham, and bacon to put onto it. At first, it's really hard to separate the meats from one another, but after a short amount of time, you'll get used to it, I promise. After we put the bacon onto the sandwich, we got to grab our cheese. For this sandwich, we used provolone cheese. And this customer wanted it toasted, so we got to toss it into the toaster.
Has anyone said they know you and seen you before at Subway when you haven't? Guys, this actually happens every single day now. I have you guys always come into my Subway store, which is located in Cedar Grove, New Jersey, by the way. And you'll always come in and be like, yo, what's up, Milad? And I'll be like, did he just say my name? And it still happens to this day. I mean, it must have happened over like 50 times now, maybe even 100. So yes, people do come in and they recognize me and I don't know who they are, but then I always ask, what's your name? And I learn a little bit about you. You learn a little bit about me. It's always a fun time.
Getting chips on my sandwich was always a staple of my childhood. So when people ask me if I could put Doritos on their sub or even any type of chips, I'm always gonna say yes. What kind of an evil person would ever say no to a child asking them to put Doritos on their sub? I know I wouldn't. So if you go to Subway and you're confident enough and you want chips on your sandwich, definitely just ask. And this is for a lot of things in life too. Whatever you want in this life, all you gotta do is ask. The worst that can happen is they say no.
Have you ever made a friendship with someone you met at Subway? So there's this old man that's in his 70s or 80s that always comes into the store. Whenever he used to come in, we would kind of get in little arguments and kind of bicker back and forth, if I'm being honest. But now, we love each other. I mean, he's the sweetest guy ever, and I'm really happy that I met him. He makes me look at life in a completely different way. I know he's not watching this, but if you are, I love you, dude. You know exactly who you are.